The Matthew Books. Matthew, Tell Me About Heaven, a first-hand description of the afterlife by Suzanne Ward. Published by Matthew Books. Part 2, Nirvana. Angels and Spirit Guides. Suzanne, are you an angel now, Matthew? Matthew, what a question! Goodness, no! Angels are not the same as discarnate humans, although some of us are given that distinction without deserving it. Angels are collective energies of light, not a multitude of individual human beings which we are. However, they can divide their energy into separate streams with personage characteristics for greater experiencing and purposeful missions, just as other collective souls can. They live in a different kind of placement from ours, and their only purpose is safeguarding, assisting, and comforting wherever it is needed. Also, unlike human beings, the angels never separated from the oneness spiritually, but there are similarities between the angels and us. They have levels in their realm just as we do, with the return to Creator as our common bond and goal. And when in personage, both they and we are in etheric bodies. But also like us, they aren't always in their bodies. For instance, they are in spirit when their energy is with those who need help but wouldn't believe it if they saw an angel form. They also communicate telepathically, just as we do, and they are alerted of the need for their services in the same way we are, by energy connections. Just as we have responsibilities and learning to accomplish in our soul growth, so do the angels have theirs through vigilance and assistance to their assigned souls. Generally, they have much more active participation in your lives than we do. Our spiritual contact with you is only by invitation through your thoughts of us, whereas the angels are on constant duty to assist you. And neither they nor we have wings. Some accounts of dramatic rescues report angelic figures with wings. On those occasions, the energy is so intense that the people manifest an atmosphere where they do see the angels' etheric bodies. In those times, the angels may don wings if they wish, because they certainly can do that. But the expectations alone of people in such emotional straits can allow the perception of wings when none exist. Suzanne, does the energy frequency change when people are in great need and that's what calls an angel to them? Matthew, the anticipation of need is conveyed by energetic streams to the angels, and they position themselves at the ready. Some people know when an angel is waiting nearby because their presence is marked by a brilliant aura, discernible to those who are sensitive to energy fluctuations. Many people in life-threatening situations have been saved by angels' intervention in accordance with those souls' chosen paths. However, if the dire circumstances are within the course of the soul's chosen lifetimes, the angels cannot interfere. When people are living in horrible situations or die violently, it doesn't mean that angels are not with them during those extreme times, but rather that the angels must respect the soul's chosen lessons, which include those experiences. These angelic emissaries of God provide spiritual comfort, enlightenment, and gentle guidance within your pre-birth choices, but they do not make decisions or give directions. Even though they are closer to you insofar as knowing details of your actions, thoughts, and problems, they are no more permitted to interfere in your free will choices than are your families here. However, angels are permitted to relieve mental or emotional anguish so severe that the human mind can no longer function rationally. This is not interference in those lives. It is within the province of compassion and sound judgment. Such expressions as losing control or being out of your mind are correct in those times because the angels are taking over during the lapses. They provide the godly free zone between humans' rational and irrational functioning. If there were no angelic buffer between controlled behavior and desperation, or between miscalculation and its results, many physical lifetimes would be much shorter than the longevity clause in the pre-birth agreements. Suzanne, what if death at that age of a lifetime isn't part of a pre-birth agreement, but the person does die, say in a massive earthquake or war, or as a victim of a tyrannical regime that kills by the thousands? Surely not all who die that way chose to, so why isn't a host of angels saving those lives? Matthew, Mother, it is true that many soul contracts are being cut short by the situations you mentioned, and by others as well, and I know it's natural to think that since this is so, angels are not performing their assignments diligently. However, in this time of accelerated happenings in the universe, not only on Earth, the end of physical lifetimes prior to agreement fulfillment is seen as providential. Many souls are choosing to leave Earth early to better prepare for ascendance to higher density spiritual evolvement here, rather than remain there in sufferable conditions of fright, persecution, severely damaged bodies, and other traumas associated with Earth in her present state. I assure you that the angels are not forfeiting their right and not abdicating their responsibilities regarding life preserving. They are seeing the picture from this higher vantage point and, in other ways, are aiding the light force's resolution to all of Earth's travails. Suzanne, our world is a mess, and I can't blame those people for wanting to move out early. Do you have anything else to tell me about angels? Matthew, yes, I can tell you more. Many of them function as free agents, not designated to a particular person, and often they are called upon to help an assigned angel in need of reinforced energy or wisdom. Indeed, angels are strong in energy and rich in wisdom, but even they have their limits. Often angels work through entities in human form, who are, however, more than human in capability, and through them the angels perform their services. Also, some of the lower angelics can live within Earth density. They take on a human form and serve the needs of humanity with great benevolence. Someone who says, "She is an angel," might be absolutely right. Angels visit here, but none are on assignment because there's no need for their protection and guidance, unlike on Earth, where there is a massive need for their extraordinary services. But they do benefit us in a different, essential way. The music that motivates the expression "choir of angels" is from energy vibrations, sometimes ascribed to the flutter of angels' wings. Despite the actual wingless form of angels, that credit still is appropriate because they are in charge of the sounds of the spheres. The angel assigned to each individual is known as that person's guardian angel or gatekeeper. Every person, regardless of his belief or disbelief in angels' existence, has a guardian angel as his primary, constant, unseen, silent protector, helper, and guide. Suzanne, aren't angels also called spirit guides? Matthew, sometimes, but not correctly. They aren't the same. Spirit guides are the spontaneous and temporary helpers who provide specialized advice or assistance. They are discarnate souls who have had many lifetimes in human bodies and can comprehend mortal needs, temptations, and problems more easily than the higher angels, who have never known the limitations of the physical condition. For instance, if you are baffled by a complicated appliance, a guide with electronic knowledge is reached energetically by a little help call that arises in your psyche and is transmitted to the ethers for an energy match. Obviously, that's not in the same league as a life-threatening situation to which your guardian angel would respond, but the "oh, now I see" help is still welcome. Mother, I'll give you real examples of recent help you've received. When you're stumped for a good transition to integrate segments of related material, your consternation reaches a soul here who has extensive writing experience, and voila, you have it. It came from your guide for that specific moment's need. When you suddenly realize the material you're working on with has a gap, you're responding to my nudge for a mini-sitting so I can amplify the subject. The light that I've told you is being focused on your work to lead it to publication originates from a multitude of sources in this realm and beyond. On a more dramatic level, think back to that frightening near crash soon after you learned to drive. Your guardian angel, Gregory, called for angels to assist him in dematerializing the car and you and your friends a split second before the crash would have happened. When it was safe, they transmuted the energy of you and your friends back into your normal density and the car back into its normal mass. They rematerialized you all. Suzanne, that's astounding, Matthew. I've always thought I was in shock, and that's why I couldn't understand why we didn't crash. It still stuns me that you know so much about my life, especially things like that I haven't thought about for decades. With all those willing helpers we have, do we ever do anything important by ourselves? Matthew, of course you do, but you also have far more help than you realize. There is no separation of the soul from any of the assisting forces, angels, spirit guides, beloved ones in this realm, light beings in other realms, God. Whatever help you require, even without consciously asking, or that which you earnestly request for yourself or someone you love, that need is registered in the same divine communication system open to all. Whether silent or verbalized, and regardless of whom directed, your urgent cries for help reach God. Instantaneously, the auxiliary lines of energy waves are directed appropriately for the circumstances, and immediate help is provided. The help may not always be recognized, though. Perhaps you pray fervently for the recovery of a beloved friend, yet she dies. Your plea for her recovery wasn't ignored. It was preempted by her pre-birth agreement. The response to your prayer could be more emotional strength and solace than if you hadn't prayed.